but I used to hear it. At least when we dropped the West Coast remix, a lot of people thought your verse was Diego.
Oh, for real?
A lot of people that was like, oh, Diego. I was like, nah, that's Graphic. Oh no, you were Omar Orr at the time. When did you switch? I mean, hold on. Let me just. I'll probably get into that on the pod. I don't want you to repeat it.
Oh, it's recording.
The video?
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's all recording. We're gonna chop it in.
Yeah. So, well, shit. I might as well finish that question. When did you transition to like Omar Orr? Just curious.
Man, it was like 2011. Yeah, 2011 when I put out the Ordon Sessions album. I just the graphic. It was kind of like just something I had as like a kid, like a moniker I had. And
was that your first name?
Yeah, that's my first.
And then you went to Graphic Ruffin.
Yeah, so then I did a spin off.
See, I'm on there. Yeah.
My guy. So I was just being creative, man. You know what I mean? And at the time there was like just other people out there with a similar name. So when I was putting out Ordon Sessions, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just do something completely different. You know what I mean? Right. And that's how.
Before we get into the pod, I just want to talk about this real quick. This is throwback, bro. Yeah. Remember, we talking 2003, 4, maybe 4. And I had heard of you already, but then I saw you. Remember, there was like a local TV show or something that you were on. So it was you on there, Shake the Mayor.
Oh yeah.
Remember that show? It was like a little local hip hop. And they were highlighting artists, and then you were in that gas station, that liquor store across the street from Sunnyside. Busy. Right.
Yeah, that was like 2000.
This is early, and they had a show.
6, maybe.
Was it 6? I thought it was earlier than that. Okay.
Yeah, because I was like fresh out of high school, so it was like 2006 or 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember what was it? What was the show called? I can't remember. And it was like
it was through MI magazine. So there was a lady named Brenda who was helping like me, like when I fresh out of high school, she started helping me with my music. And man, she just had a lot of connections. Man, she had like connections to like a TV show.
That was big. I was like, man, this is
her own magazine. And yeah, man, she was like, we're gonna shoot a music video for you. People didn't even have music videos back then. You know what I mean? Like 07, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least like local rappers or like rappers on the come up, a lot of them didn't. And they said we're gonna shoot it. So the guy that shot the music video was not a music video director. He was just like he was a TV guy. He was a guy that shot TV shows, commercials. So he didn't really even know like what to. I won't say what to do, but he was like, he told me like whatever you're supposed to do in a music video, just do it.
Yeah.
I'm just hold the camera because I've never shot a music video. I was like, cool. We're gonna go to my neighborhood. We're gonna go to the store me and my partners always go to, and we're gonna shoot the video. And that's what we did, bro. And it ended up on TV, which was crazy.
That's
local TV, but it was crazy, bro. Like, I think back on that. That was wild that you remember that, though.
Oh man, yeah, it's historic. Well, man, it's a hot one. How you doing, Mark?
Did your fan go out?
It did.
Oh man, we're in for a tough one.
We got a great show though.
For a tough one.
We got a great show.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the honors on this one.
Get that? Yeah. Let's move that a little bit.
Gotcha. There we go.
Because these mics, top notch.
Yeah.
Noise canceling. The further you are, man.
Very true. Yeah. We don't hold back on this show. We went all out for the equipment. Yeah.
Definitely. I see, man. This is lavish.
No.
You know what I mean?
This wine is new, though. This wine is new. What is this?
We got
what do you got going on here,
welcome
Rich?
to Heat Speakers, guys. I know you're in the middle of the conversation. We got a great show. I know you noticed the wine. We got the Robert Mondavi today edition. Select brand 2021 Cabernet. I am a wine guy, but Robert has some good wine.
Okay.
It's not the top of the line, but we're gonna get maybe the next time model. But today we're celebrating, man. And the reason today, guys, for our celebration, we've been glad to have a great guest today, Gary Guyton, insurance broker.
Yes, sir.
And hip hop artist. It has a background, so we're going to get into all that. But the reason, guys, for the wine, we're going to do a toast. Instagram told us it's our birthday for the Heat Speakers. But, it's more like a 6-month anniversary, what we realized. So
half birthday.
Half
birthday, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's
more of a keep it up notification. It was
more
of a keep it up notification.
That's it. And we've been going for.
I see you. I see you.
So half a year. Here's to a half a year for the Heat Speakers podcast, and here's to many more years. We're gonna keep this going, guys. So toast.
Were we supposed to drink all that? Nope, my bad.
It's okay.
All right.
I'm over here coughing.
Took it like a shot.
That's it.
All
like
right,
I said, we got
reflex.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got We got Gary Guyton to the show, guys.
What
Welcome,
up?
Gary, man.
What's going on, fellas?
Glad to have
Man,
you.
I've been
Thank you
watching
for
this
coming in.
it's a little crazy being here, man, because I keep up.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
talking
saying?
about. There you go,
So
there
I'll
you
be
go.
watching
That's
the
what I'm
clips,
talking
you know what I'm saying? I follow y'all on IG. So now that I'm here, it's dope, man. I'm inside of Instagram now with y'all. No,
There you go. There you go. For sure.
Yeah, you're
For
keeping
sure.
up with
What's
our
up?
clips. We're trying to keep up with how many reels you're putting out, man.
Yeah,
You can't keep up
You're
with
nonstop.
you, man.
You're nonstop.
I'm the Gucci man of insurance reels.
Hey, I'm going to grab
I
something
like
real
that.
quick. I'm going to be right back. Continue.
All right.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, we've seen it. We've seen it.
thank
We've
you,
seen
man.
you on there. I know you and Rich know each other from way back when, man. We're gonna get into your story here in a second,
Definitely,
and find out how you got where you're at, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you're spreading that awareness, that education, that knowledge, helping families out.
Definitely, man.
Same thing we're doing here. So
Yeah.
let's jump into that, Gary, man.
Yeah, let's do
what
it, man.
when did this all start? When did you meet Rich, and how did we get on this path, man?
Oh man, so I met Rich, boy. It had to be 2007, 8, something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
While
you know
back,
what I mean?
while back.
Yeah, a long time ago. And then I think we really connected though more so like in 2010, maybe 09, 2010. But it was through music, man. It was through music. You know what I mean? That's my first love. That's my heart. And Rich was somebody that's always been passionate about it as well. And we collaborated as artists like in 2010. And we just stayed partners from there. You know what I mean? So, whatever I see him doing, I support it. Likewise, and we would just keep up with each other. But yeah, man, it all started when he hit me up and said, "Yo, I got this remix. I need you to drop some bars on it, bro."
You know what, man? I don't think that on one single episode in this podcast,
Yeah.
that we have talked about Rich's background
Right.
as an artist.
Yeah,
As an
yeah,
artist. So this is
yeah.
the first time.
First time
He's made
pulling
me.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talked about it with me off record, you know.
Right,
But but yeah, this is the first time it's coming on here, and it's gonna be nice to see this come full circle from where you guys started to,
Yeah, definitely.
to how we're helping families
I'm
now.
happy that I'm the one that he decided to let the cat out the bag with. But yeah, man, that's kind of how we met. But it makes no. I'm not surprised where Rich is today, present day, and what he's doing present day, because even as
I heard someone talking about me.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. He was just asking kind of how I met you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Like I said, it was definitely in the early 2000s. Like I feel like I was saying, we probably met, I don't know, 07, 06, what we were talking about. But then I feel like we really connected like 09, 010.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And started like collabing together and stuff like that.
And for those who don't know, a lot of people are not aware I was in the music industry a little bit, late 90s, early 2000s. Long time ago. My younger years, before the gray hairs, I was in the music and groups and things like that. And just doing my music thing on the music scene, doing shows and things, is just coming across, another artist and just, noticing his talent and how good he was as an artist as well, and the great music he's put out. So, so that's the history, how we met.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And it's a beautiful thing to see how the progression over the years have come. And now, fast forward, we're both, working for ourselves, basically entrepreneurs and self-employed, and it's a beautiful thing how the progression. So had to get him on today so he could tell us all about insurance. He's an insurance broker, as you probably know, and a great thing, there's a lot of things. This apply if you're into real estate or anything. This will help as well, because there's ways you can use an insurance policy to purchase real estate. So we're going to get into all that.
100%.
All that.
100%.
Yes, sir.
So
that's kind of how we met, man. And like I said, I've always just admired, his hustle, his ability to market, his ability to connect with people. I think Rich is, I read a book called The Tipping Point, and like one of the, I don't know about you, but I never remember everything from a book. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you remember these things that like are important or that resonate with you. And one thing it's like either you're a connector yourself, or you need a connector. Or you're a connector and you still need a connector. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you don't know everybody. But that's, to me, Rich is someone like that who's going to say, oh, you do this? Well, guess what? I got a guy that does this. You're looking for, or you need a loan? Well, guess what? I got Mark. You need a house? Well, you know what I mean? He's that guy that's going to be able to do that, because
I appreciate that.
His communication skills and just his vibe is easy going, to where most people are going to want to do business with them or hang with them or whatnot. So, but yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Respect, man. I appreciate that, man. I've never heard anyone quite say it that way, but over the years, I kind of felt that's kind of a good one of us. I guess we all got superpowers. It's just a matter of knowing what you're good at and what you're not. So I know for sure there's a lot of things I'm horrible at, but there are some key things that I do know that over the years that I'm like, okay, well, I think I'm pretty good at doing this.
Yeah.
And I think just in life, we all got different special abilities, right? That just comes more natural.
For sure.
And once we know that or realize it, is really just going all in and figuring out how to use that to get to the successes and reach the goals you're trying to accomplish. But so I think that's a key thing. So so that's it. Just maximizing, what comes natural to you. Definitely is a way to go.
Because it's hard, right? If you don't do what you're naturally good at or use the traits that you're naturally good at, because we see so many things on social media, it can be super easy to try to like see what somebody does or see how somebody is, and then try to emulate it just because they're successful.
Right.
But that's gonna it's gonna be a short fuse. You know what I mean? Like, I might be able to, dress like Drake for like a couple weeks, but I'm probably run out of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, so.
Well, that wouldn't be natural either, because now it's forcing you to come out of a comfort, like, you really don't can't afford that lifestyle, or you can't really do that naturally. So that's not what it is. It's really more something that you were born with. Really, we all got, and sometimes it takes us longer, to figure what it is. Some people know right away. Some people they might not find out what they're really good at till they're 40 years old, 50 years old, but I think it also comes with experimenting different things, really just focusing a lot more on yourself, building yourself up, working on yourself to get better. And eventually, I'm sure if you sit still and really tune into focus on yourself, it'll be obvious. It'll eventually be obvious. Okay, I'm good at this. Right. I might not be good at that, but I'm really good at this. Now, if I need something else, another piece to the puzzle to help whatever I'm trying to accomplish, that's when you bring in support. You bring in help. You find people that are good in those areas to make the full picture or the full thing happen.
Right. And I know you and I have talked about this, how you went from the juvenile hall to real estate, and what you took from the music industry being, the kind of like you said, the promoter, the marketer, they took that over to real estate.
Yeah.
For you, Gary, what did you take from that? What made you go and include insurance broker to your tool belt, and what kind of skills did you take?
So you don't know it, right, when you're inspired to be a musician, a rapper, a singer, a producer, any of those things. But you're signing up to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're signing up to be self-employed, right?
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying? So over time, what I had to my advantage is, I don't know where it necessarily came from. Maybe just because I see my mom as a hard worker and she did things. As an artist, I was that way. So right out the gate, I was printing up merch. I was printing up shirts. I had this shirt called "I'm So 559" that like got really big in the city, and Chic picked it up, and they were ordering. And I was like 21 years old, like doing it like that. So so for me, I didn't know it at the time, but I was developing skills. I was also developing how to take rejection. Right?
You get a lot of that.
I'm standing in front of a club. I'm standing in front of an event, and I'm like, yo, you want to check out my CD? No. Yeah, you want to check out No. Man, let me see what you got.
Finally.
Yeah. You want to check out my CD? No. You want to check out? No. All right, let me check. You know what I mean? So I'm learning that. I'm learning how to overcome rejection, or, you know what I'm saying, or, things like that. And then as time progresses, you say, well, wow, I can put these skills to use. And you don't necessarily even say it out loud, but you're like, I could do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If I can do what I just did, you know what I'm saying? If I can sell, CDs out of my car, or I could sell T-shirts out of my car, and then and then start getting these little kids. I had kids, like one of my closest friends now, I was like 20 years old. He was like an 8th grader at the time. And he was like selling my shirts at his junior high, giving him a little cut.
Wow.
Now we're both adults, you know what I'm saying? And we're still cool, but like learning that type of thing of how to make stuff beneficial for not just yourself. And
then when you got older, you realized he was an independent contractor for your business. That's what you realized. That's what you learned. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
you should have sent him a 1099.
Exactly. That's a 1099 employee right there.
So it's love, So I think and then with the advent of social media, it's like I've been doing social media for years. Like it was kind of funny. People hit you up in your DMs, and one time somebody hit me up on my insurance page, right, which is only, you know, maybe 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because I've only been in it for 3 years. So they're like, hey man, how long have you been creating content? And I'm like, I don't know, bro, like 15 years. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Right.
This kind of content. But
Right.
I've been creating content for a very long time.
Sure,
You know what I'm saying?
and
So,
now
like,
it's just online, digital format is more. Yeah, it's
you
it's
know,
internet, but yeah.
He's probably, you know, trying. But at this point, it's been digital even almost more than 10 years now too. You know what I mean? We got YouTube. I got YouTube videos that's over 10 years old.
Very true. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
We go back to MySpace and all that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's been a journey, man, and I think I'm finally to the point where I'm confident enough in what I do business wise as an insurance person, where you know I feel comfortable in both, right? You know what I'm saying? Where it's
Gotcha.
like, yes, you know, if you want to know, like, yeah, I'm a musician as well, you know, and yes, this is what I do, insurance. I'm not really afraid to like let for people to know. It might not be something I'm screaming from the rooftop, you know what I mean? Because not everybody cares, but it's something that it's like that's just what it is, you know what I mean? Like I'm an entrepreneur, so one of my businesses is music, one of my businesses is insurance, and we just gonna keep going.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
What was probably one of the hardest things the transition into, you know, being a full, you know, insurance broker from, you know, was there like the struggle? Like what was one of the hardest things?
So probably, let's see, one of the hardest things, you know, really the same things that are hard in anything that any type of business where you're trying to get people to do business with you, right? Because not everyone is.
Right.
So, you know, just the people saying no, that's gonna happen. You know,
very
what I mean?
true.
Like, you know what
Yeah, yeah.
People everybody not gonna be interested, or everybody's not gonna see the value. So understanding that, and not necessarily being great right out the gate,
sure.
Right? Like not knowing everything about it because you might come from something that you've been doing. So I was in the fitness industry for a long time as well. So, you know, I was, just a gym manager and a salesperson in that arena. And so that became second nature to me as well. So then you finally get to something where it's not second nature, and you don't know everything. You don't have the answer to every question, and you're like, oh man,
outside of your comfort zone, basically.
Exactly, outside of my comfort zone, bro. So, and even now, I'm like, wow, I'm about to be like 3 years in, and there's still so many levels to go. Like, you know, there's a financial advisor, there's an estate planner, there's all these different things that you know you have to prove that you know that knowledge by, you know, studying, taking a course, just like to be a real estate agent, I'm sure to be a loan officer, and even to be an insurance broker. But in my case, that's just kind of like step one. It's like, okay, you know, let's keep going. But yeah, man, I think the most difficult thing about the transition was just the being comfortable being uncomfortable. You know
that's it.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of that part of it.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, man. And so man, business is going good, and and also too, I do want to touch on, like I said, different time. Maybe you can, you know, a lot of people are not even too familiar with life insurance, how it could benefit them. A lot of people assume, which I did, of course, too, that life insurance is only good for when you die, right? That's it. The only time you can use it.
Everybody,
And that's just a miseducation of a lot of us. We're not educated to that. So enlighten us a little bit about how life insurance can be used.
Yeah. So there's a wide range of how, you know, life insurance can be used, but there's some very pivotal benefits to it. So of course, there's always a death benefit. No matter what policy you have, it's always going to have a death benefit. That's what makes it life insurance. There's term and there's whole life. You know, term is going to expire. It's just, you know, so meaning at one time and point, this policy is no longer going to exist. You know, it's going to expire, has an expiration date. Whole life is going to be permanent. So it's going to last your entire life. Now, both of these policies, though, can have a living benefit. That living benefit could be that if you became sick, if you became injured, if you became temporarily disabled, it pays out. So that death benefit, you can get up to 80% of that death benefit while you're alive if for some reason you became terminally, critically, or chronically ill. Now it's different states are different. Like some states it's only terminal. So you got to be careful with that as well. Some states it's all three. But yeah, so that's one of the living benefits of life insurance, and term or whole life can have that. And I think like literally if you're gonna get a policy, especially if you don't have one yet, that's huge. If you're still working, you definitely want to have living benefits in the policy, because imagine something happening where you can't work and it was due to an accident, due to a sickness, due to an illness, and now you don't have that income anymore. You didn't die, so if your policy only had death benefit, then you still don't get it.
Right.
But if it has living benefits, you can access it, while you're alive, while you're out of work, until you're able to nurse yourself back to health, or until you're able to adjust to this new life that you have of, oh man, I'm disabled, or I'm this, or I'm that.
Right.
So that's one benefit. The other benefit is going to be strictly for whole life, which is building cash value. So there's policies that you're paying into them, and the cash value, the worth of this policy is growing. The way it's growing is through compound interest. So I'm paying $100 a month, and there's interest that's growing on that money that I'm paying into it. And so the cash value is continuing to rise.
Gotcha.
With that cash value, there's things I can do with it. I can pull it out. Just pull it, it's my money, I'm just going to pull it out. That necessarily isn't suggested, but it can happen, and there's some very, couple instances where it might make sense. The other option that's far more popular is I'm letting that money build with compound interest, and I take out a loan against it from the life insurance company.
Can you do that with term and whole, or just
only whole? So because term isn't building any cash value.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. The only way you can get some kind of money back from a term policy, if you did a policy called a cash back offer, where there are some term policies where at the end of the term I get all the premiums back that I paid into it if I outlive it.
How often is that set up?
Well,
it's not very common to.
It's common. Here's what I learned. I'll just go off my experience. What I learned with a cashback term policy is that in the beginning, I've seen a lot of agents doing it, and I did it as well, but it does create a higher premium. So people are paying more. Typically, when people are getting term, the idea is to have a large death benefit in a lower payment because they're young, maybe because they're still working, they just bought a house, whatever they're trying to protect, so it can make sense, but for the most part, if you're going to get term, I think most people's intent is to keep the premium lower, and a cashback term policy isn't going to do that.
Gotcha.
But it can have its benefits. Maybe if you make the term short, maybe it's just a 20-year term, and boom, you're going to get all the premiums back if you outlive it. Because the fact of it is, though, the reason why they do get, a lot of people do write them, is honestly only 2% of term policies pay out. And
wow. Why is it so low? That's interesting.
We don't want that number to go up, though.
Right. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Less people are dying within their.
Well, I think I might be wrong. I'm just going to take a stab at it. I think it's due because a lot of people will have a term policy. Then at some point, times get hard and they just stop paying their term payments, making their payments.
That's a small percentage of it.
Okay.
Most of it's just though they outlive it.
Oh.
You get a term policy when you're young and healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the guy comes in, hey, rich man, 26 years old, we're gonna get you a term policy. It's gonna be $14 a month.
$14 a month.
Yeah. Oh, you heard that? Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
It's gonna be $20 a month, whatever it is.
Okay, well that's
now,
not much.
One little tidbit fact to throw in there. So, term should be cheap. Sometimes if it's really, really, really cheap, that means it's death benefit only though. So you do want to ask,
right?
Because it might be like $5 or $10 more, than a just a only death benefit. So you do want to ask if you're getting a term policy. It'll still be super cheap, but just ask because there are term policies that do not include living benefits.
Okay, good to know.
But back to the point. So most people are just outliving them because they're getting them when they're young, and a lot of people are, living beyond that 20 or 30 years or 15 years that the term policy was set up for, and which is okay. A lot of people get term policies too for their mortgage, right? Because it's like the mortgage is set up for 30 years. They already have a traditional life insurance policy that's going to pay out if they die. But they just want this hopefully affordable policy where it's just going to last the duration of the mortgage, and it has living benefits. So now, if I stop working due to medical purposes, okay, we're going to get $100,000, or we're going to get $200,000, or we're going to get
Wow.
whatever the case may be, and whether it pays off the mortgage or not, it buys us time. There's money in the bank,
Right.
and we can kind of make a very sound decision.
How is it pretty hard to access? That sounds good. Is that tough to access? And is there a certain type of illness you have that doesn't meet that requirement to get paid out? You know what I mean?
Right. So absolutely. So there is. So like I was saying, different states. Some states say, "Hey, man, you get critically, chronically, or terminally ill, you're good." A lot of policies in California are terminally, or you have to be severely, injured or disabled for that to happen. So it really just depends on the carrier.
Gotcha.
You just ask those questions. You know what I mean when you're doing it. But what were we talking about? Yeah, the mortgage protection. So you can. A lot of people do line it up for that, and they figure you don't always have to cover the whole mortgage. You can just cover a large chunk of it, because at the end of the day, we were having this conversation off camera. The biggest thing about life insurance, or probably even mortgage or anything, is make it affordable, man.
Yeah.
Like, make it affordable, because the only policy that matters is the one that's in place when you die.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or the one that's in place when you get injured, or when you're sick, or whatever the case, whatever you got it for. That's the only policy that matters, is when something bad happens, it's in place. So if you just get some expensive policy that you really can't afford just because it's going to cover your whole mortgage, that don't make sense. You know what I mean? You should get something that you can afford, because you'd rather your wife have $100,000, even though the mortgage is $300,000, you rather still have $100K than her have nothing.
Yeah.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she can figure. I'm sure she can figure out what to do.
Right. Oh yeah. That's
So those are how the term works, and then with the whole life, so you build the cash value. You can take out a loan against it, and then you have to set up, in most instances, how you're going to pay it back. So meaning you say, okay, I want to do 3 years, 5 years. It's not like the bank where they're telling you, hey, this is exactly when you have to pay it back, and this is how much you have to pay back. Now, you still want to be strategic. You still want to have a plan in mind before you do it, opposed to just saying, I'll pay it back whenever, like,
Right.
That's just not good.
Let's talk a little. Let's dive in deep with the whole life. That seems very interesting, because I know a lot of people listening are business professionals, possibly whatever they are, but. And just looking at the whole life, how that could be utilized, like for investments, you can use money, take money out. Now I don't know. It's a higher monthly fee, right, or charge, right? Or is that true? Is it tougher to even get to qualify to get like medically and things like that?
To get the
get on
great
board.
question. So medically, you do have to be relatively healthy in order to get a policy like that. And when I say relatively healthy, you could have high blood pressure, you could have, diabetes, maybe it's controlled, maybe you don't have any underlying issues with the diabetes, like meaning you don't have neuropathy, or you don't have something crazy attached to the diabetes, and you can still qualify. Now, for someone who can't qualify, and there's only going to be a certain amount of things that might put you in a position where you won't qualify. Maybe you past cancer, current cancer, things that are very extreme like that. Maybe you had a stroke or a heart attack recently, things like that. But for the most part, especially if you just go ahead and do like a full underwriting, meaning you allow them to just like send a nurse to your home or to your job, do the whole nine, you're in
draw the blood,
exactly
everything. Yeah,
you have a better chance of actually passing that way if your health is kind of shaky. Because what happens if you're trying to get like an instant approval, they're just looking at the medications, and you might only took that one time, and then they deny you.
Right.
But if you let them go ahead and see that you're healthy, it takes a little longer. But you let them see you're healthy. You let them see that you're still kicking. You're good. You're at work. Come to my job.
I'm not a risky investment. I'm not a risky investment. Yeah.
Then you have a better chance of getting approved. But there's ways around that too, right? So say I did have a stroke 2 months ago. I did have cancer, unfortunately, 2 years ago. Well, guess what? You probably have a dependent that is healthy, whether it's a kid, whether it's a spouse, whether it's whoever, grandparent, I don't know. But now, if you wanted to, you can kill two birds in one stone. You could insure that person, So God forbid something happens to them, there's some financial protection. And then you can still benefit from the financial benefits that you have from having a whole life policy. So now you own the policy. Someone you love or someone close to you is insured, and you can still use that. So okay, I got this at $10,000. I'm going to put the $10,000 into the life insurance policy. It's going to start growing with compound interest, and I'm going to take out a loan. Now you won't be able to take out a loan for exactly $10,000. That's kind of I won't say a myth people are saying, but it's like you're going to take out a loan maybe for 8, maybe for 7 or something like that, whatever they approve you for. And now you can go maybe make an investment with that money that you pulled out, all while your $10,000 is growing with compound interest. The reason you don't want to take your own money out is because basically the rule of compound interest is it got to be uninterrupted for it to keep compounding.
Right.
So you can't bother it.
So let me just clarify that. So say someone, whole life, someone makes a deposit, they park money there, right?
Yeah.
Say someone would say, okay, I'm going to put $20,000 today, right? Now, is that face value still $20K, or is it more, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So with a properly structured whole life policy, the death benefit is going up. So the face value is continuing to rise. As you're putting more cash into it, and just as the years are progressing and things like that. So you might have started with a $50,000 death benefit, but in 10 years it's at 60, or it's at it just continues to rise. And typically when you meet, when I meet with someone, the first time we meet is really just getting information, seeing what the purpose of the policy is. Is it for investment purposes, or is it just to protect your family or your mortgage, or what's the case? And then the second time we're going to pull out an illustration so you can see, okay, even if you just put in, whatever this monthly payment is every month, here's where it would go. In 10 years, this is what it would look like. In 20 years, this is what it would look like. So, if you just decide to stop paying it in 15 years, here's how much of a death benefit you would still get. You could just have that's what's called a paid up policy. So I'm done paying for it. I want to just pay up this policy. I don't want to keep paying $115 a month. I don't want to keep paying $75 or $200, whatever it is. And so you can basically reserve that cash value wherever your death benefit is at the time, and now you just have a paid up policy that you don't pay on anymore, but it's still going to have a death benefit when you pass away.
And that's not a term.
That's whole life.
That's whole life.
That's whole life.
Whole life.
Yeah.
So okay. So on that example right there, let's say I get myself into something. I'm 33, right? I pay on it for 10 years, and then I decide I no longer want that payment. Whatever the death benefit is at that point, if I decide I want to stop paying on it, that's the max that death benefit's going to go.
Exactly.
On the flip side, how long can I continue to pay, or is there a cap that you can pay?
Yeah.
As far as my contribution.
Yeah. Is there a point where you have to stop paying into
Right.
it? No.
Okay.
Yeah. So it shows, when you see an illustration, it's gonna show you out to hey, bro, you're gonna live to 120.
Gotcha.
It's gonna show you way far beyond the average life expectancy. So it's gonna show you pretty far out. 80 years from wherever you are right now. At 33. So it's gonna about 120. I think most of them is gonna show you out to living that long, and
Gotcha.
what it would do if you kept paying into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I got another scenario. If let's say I had a property and I owned it right now, I wanted to sell it because in this market, whatever, I just want to get out of real estate. If I want to sell it, excuse me, and I know I'm going to make, $50,000 from the sale of this property. If I wanted to put all 50 into a whole life policy, could I do one large sum payment up front, never pay on it again, have my death benefit forever, and it'll still continue to gain interest the entire time it's sitting there?
Yes. So meaning you could, not if you turn it into a paid up policy.
Gotcha.
So meaning if you acknowledge that I'm never gonna pay on this again, then it won't.
Gotcha.
Right. But if you just basically put that much money in there, and they say, well, wow, you don't have to pay any, you know what I mean? You don't have to pay any, premiums for,
Right.
20 years, 30 years, or whatever the case may be. Then you wouldn't have to pay it, but that cash value will continue to grow.
Gotcha.
But if you turn into what they call a paid up policy, then everything ceases at that point.
So if somebody were to say, you know what, I just want to I want to start with $500 a month, but I'm going to pay the first $50,000 right now.
Right.
Now your premiums are paid up. It continues to gain interest.
And
you can pull from it when you want to.
Right.
And use it again, and then just pay it back.
Right.
Whatever premium you should have been paying anyway. After you pull it, say you see an investment property, then you can go buy it in the future. Because when you sell a property, the other reason I'm asking this, because when you sell a property and you want to move it to another one without paying taxes, you got a certain amount of time.
Right.
So if there's another area to park that,
right,
that would make a lot more sense. Just park it, and if we can wait a year and then boom, let me pull this out.
100%.
Pull this out, and now I go get it.
And that's kind of why people use life insurance, right? And why it's been there.
That makes sense.
It's been there for so many years, man.
Right.
Like it's like we're hearing about this now on TikTok, but literally J.C. Penney, Walt Disney, these guys were doing this in the early 1900s, bro. Like
before the internet, the information was not. It was hard to get the information.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
people are doing it now, and the reality of it is, people can say, oh, this is way better investment. That's way better investment, and that might be true. Why people are putting money into life insurance is because they know they can guarantee the interest. They can guarantee that it's not going to be the market isn't going to affect it. So the stock market is not going to affect a cash value whole life policy. Because the interest is guaranteed, and then we didn't even touch on the dividend payments. So the insurance company, if you're with a good mutual company, they're going to pay you each month, each year, a little percentage of your premiums back, essentially. And with these premium payments, they can't guarantee it. So anybody, a broker ever tells you, agent, I guarantee you dividend payments, he cannot do that. It's illegal. But what you can say is, well, this particular mutual company has
a history, right? Never missing a dividend
payment, exactly, over 100 years. 150
wow.
years. So now it's like, okay, this is a pretty darn sure shot.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're getting that as well. So people might say, oh, well, I could put it in an IRA, or I could put it in this and that, and it's gonna exponentially grow this amount. Maybe.
Yeah.
Might have some down years.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe,
and you know what I noticed, and one of the things I saw happening was when COVID hit. We saw the overall market take a dive.
Right.
If you were looking to retire in 2020, 2021, 2022, you lost a lot of what you were looking at.
Right. A lot of people couldn't retire. They couldn't.
For your retirement.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that whole life protects against, because you're not in that market. They guarantee it. Now, you'll never take a loss.
Right.
Never take a loss with whole life.
Yeah.
But if some years are 3%, some years could be 2%, but you'll never take a loss, right? Or how does that work?
So with whole life, whatever your rate is guaranteed. So if it's 4%, if it's 4.5, it's just guaranteed throughout.
Really?
Now with
That's
Index
awesome.
Universal Life,
I got one.
Yeah. You're not going to be. You are somewhat affected by the stocks because you can't take a loss, but you will not gain anything.
Right.
Right.
And basically, you didn't gain anything, but you still paid your premiums. You still paid whatever fees comes along with it.
Right.
And you didn't gain anything. So those are the bigger differences between the two. Now, people will tell you, well, that's just because you got to properly structure it. And I'm never the one to argue with people, right? Because I do feel like ultimately the individual that's working on your policy is far more important than the company, than the product. So if they're able to do it in a way, structure in a way that, shields you from certain things, that's awesome. So if someone's telling me they have that ability, I'm not going to argue them. I just go with, the knowledge that I have, the mentors that I have, and things of that nature. But just what we can say pretty much without doubt is that, yes, you won't take a loss on either one, but one of them you might not gain anything,
Or in the boom years, you'll
Right.
gain more than the guaranteed.
Exactly.
So that's a
Exactly.
risk. That's the
Exactly. It's a gamble.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I kind of wanted you to also touch on, like you just kind of mentioned, the universal life, right? The
Right,
index
yeah.
universal. So
Yeah.
that's another type of policy that a lot of people are not aware of, but
right.
it has some great benefits. I heard even O.J. Simpson had that to avoid
Yeah.
them touching his assets, his money during that court.
Absolutely. So that's a beauty of life insurance as well. So for instance, I was just talking to a business owner and he was like, hey, I just want to be protected, because what happens, right, when any successful business at some point,
Hey, Rich, can you check the
probably if they're
audio on the laptop?
really, really successful, is you might get sued.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Apple's getting sued right now, I think. A lot of big companies getting sued. So they can't touch life insurance. They can't sue you for life insurance. They can't come for it or anything like that. So a lot of people, protect their money
Use
that
the
way.
shelter.
And shield it.
The shelter.
But
Okay.
yeah, with the Index Universal Life, it's similar to whole life because it can be permanent, but you are having a little bit of, and you also get to participate. You're not in the stock market, but you're tied to it, so to speak, and you're able to participate in it, in the gains, without participating in the losses. And also with the Index Universal Life it's also going to have those living benefits. So something, if you got the right one, you should have some living benefits in there. God forbid you get sick or severely injured. And for the most part, reasonable. I think both of them have pretty reasonable rates. I think sometimes it gets overstated, like, oh, they're just expensive. But really, I mean, the more that I've worked with whole life and IULs, it's really not. I understand if someone's at an advanced age, maybe they're 60, 70, in their 80s, things like that. Of course, it's gonna be a higher premium. But for the most part, you can find something that's affordable for most people if they want to have a permanent policy that's going to last their entire life. And if they want that, it's something that's going to build cash value, which is going to be, an Index Universal Life or, a whole life.
Now, the IUL, can you access, can you borrow against that as well? It's similar to a whole life and
Yes.
continue to accrue the
You
compound?
can borrow against that as well. What I've seen, and like I said, you just got to structure them the right way. What I've seen is that those even more so have to be structured the right way because 9 out of 10 that I see aren't, and it's taking that person a long time before they could ever even attempt to do something like that because their cash value is just basically what a lot of agents do. Unfortunately, what you see is they set the IUL policy up to where you're basically just paying for life insurance. So you're not even participating enough of your funds into the index part of it to where you could gain a good amount of cash value over the years.
Right.
And you're pretty much just dedicating all your premiums to insurance. So you just have a standard insurance policy, and it's called the IUL.
Now, does that come down to the individual's, the policy member's budget? Maybe if they don't have enough over the premium to even participate, does it kind of come down to that, or
it can. What I typically, even when I was brand new, right, and I just knew the basic concept of it, I always would tell people, like, if you want an IUL, I hear you, that's cool, but do you have the budget
that makes sense.
What I would basically tell people, and like I said, it isn't going to work if I tell you what the cost of the amount of, so they say I want a $300,000 death benefit, and I tell them what that cost. Now, if you can't afford another $50, $100, $150
You're not going to
on top of
participate.
that, then maybe we need to go with $150 death benefit. And if $150 is too small, you're like, nah, bro, I got too much assets and that. Well, then maybe this isn't even the policy we need. Maybe we need a really big term policy for you.
So it's case by case.
Something bad happened because your son's only 4, bro. You got a mortgage. your girl's a stay-at-home mom. Like maybe the death benefit and the medical living benefits is more important right now than you building cash value in this policy.
Gotcha.
And maybe when you got some more funds, you get a promotion, that side hustle that you got takes off. Then maybe you also get
I like
IUL
that.
policy, or you get a whole life policy on the side of your main policy.
Like you said, case by case. Everything's case by case. It's not the same.
It really just depends, and you just got to be honest with people and hope that they're cool with it,
Right.
Because I'm sure you guys see it all the time.
I was just about to say, honestly, that's what this field has been missing for so long, right? And I would group, buying a home, like real estate, insurance, whole life. I would group that all with just financial literacy.
Yeah.
That is what this field has been missing for so long.
Yeah.
Like the people up here knew.
Yeah.
And I feel like they made it a point to make sure that the people down here did not.
100%.
Now there's so many of us coming in the middle saying, whoa, wait a minute. We can't just deny them. Let's show them how to get there.
Yeah.
Let's guide them from A to B.
100%.
And
None of that's taught in
that's,
school.
That's what a lot. As a matter of fact, a lot of our guests that come on here have that mentality that hey, that's bullshit, type mentality, which is fantastic because, I mean, even to me, like I'm aware of the loan products, but still. Like, I need to find somebody who's, like, would lay this out like, no, this is not what you need, man. You need this.
Yeah.
Based on you need this.
And it's
and you need that. And but because of the old ways, you say that to a client, you say that to a potential policy member, and they're like, they're skeptics and they're squinty eyes. They're like,
why is he not just taking my money?
Why is he not just taking exactly? You know, and
because we're in this age now. Yeah, I could do that, and then guess what? Your little 21-year-old son that's on TikTok, he gonna be like, well, Dad, did he structure that properly? Because I was on,
push them glasses up.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, Dad.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
The information is there, bro. So you can't be out here lying. You can't be out here just,
But people still try. It blows my mind. We were just talking about this earlier. We got a deal right now with a buyer, and we were just going through some, and I was just like, man, the lack of accountability in some of these financial fields is wild, man.
Well, a lot of it stems
People
from
still try to lie.
our education system has failed us so much. Like you don't hear anything about financial literacy when you're going to school, like, which is super important. That's why the average person or American, has so much debt and living check to check, unfortunately, right? Because no one really understands it. So, and the education is out there slowly but surely, but it's not enough. So maybe that's something we can discuss off camera. Maybe, I've always had a passion of creating some type of
that's great,
classes or schooling or education platform to where anybody that's interested in learning financial literacy, buying a house, saving, investing, whatever, or just how money works, they can come. They have a place to go learn it from.
Yeah, that's what made me passionate about it, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, like, initially, when I'm thinking about, what field I want to go into or where I want to get a license to be, do I want to be in real estate, insurance, do I want to do this, do I want to do that? I'm thinking of the monetary, gains from it. Like, okay, these people make good money in this field, they make good money in that field. Well, once I got into it, I realized it was deeper. I was like, oh, now this is deeper, bro. Like, you come from a background, you come from an area, a community, which are like a bunch of communities in America, where life insurance was just, all we knew about it is, well, most people don't got it. The people that do got it, they just got the type of insurance that you get when you're like 80 or 70 or 65, and it's just gonna bury grandma, and it really ain't gonna be nothing to spread around. But it's not a real inheritance. Right. It's just to cover the final bill because it costs to die. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's like, wow, there's another sector of if we knew that it was smart to get, man. I got an appointment at 6. Brother has a preteen and a teenager. He's gonna pay $20 a month for a whole life policy for each one. When they're like 35, I think it is, or something like that, the cash value is, and I'm just throwing these out. I got the thing in my phone, but their cash value is gonna be like 25 grand, something crazy where it's like you're like, how? Wow, just off of $20, but they're so young.
Right.
The compound interest is just gonna keep going. They don't interrupt it. He might even tell them that they got it until they're like 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like if we were told that this is something you should get early in life,
sure,
and you should get this kind, and you should set it up this way. Well, now generations are obviously more literate, but they got a head start.
Right, yes. We're way behind. Way behind. You know,
like, so many generations, so many people that we know, whether it's famous, whether it's their first shock of wealth was through a life insurance policy or through an inheritance, right? So whether it wasn't a life insurance, whatever it was, but their first shock of wealth a lot of times was through an insurance policy. I mean, hell, Master P, grandfather passes away, they're living in the projects, insurance policy, 10 grand. Moves to California, opens up No Limit Records, the actual store, No Limit Records, where he just sold music, other people's music. And then eventually that became No Limit Records, the actual
the label.
Company,
the label.
label.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And shit, I did not know that.
Yeah. So, but it all started
insurance policy.
From life insurance policy, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's like, okay, I'm gonna take this.
I'm gonna do something with it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do something with it.
And 10,000 wasn't 10,000 was pretty decent to the 90s. You know, it wasn't a whole bunch, but it was pretty. It was a nice chunk. You know, especially at that time for sure.
And so.
It was a chunk.
Yeah, man. And so now, moving forward, it's like, if we just know that we should start this a little, we should start it earlier because, I think over time I remember the insurance men used to come to your house and they didn't look like you, they didn't look like him, they didn't look like me.
Right.
We
didn't understand it. You know, most average person didn't understand it. We were just like, like you just said, So
I'm pretty sure that, a lot of our grandparents, it's one of the saddest stories I ever heard. So, one thing I use, and I'll tell this for anybody that has a business online. So Dave Ramsey goes hard on insurance people. He doesn't believe in it basically outside of term, right? So he makes a post about it and I commented on it. And what I was saying is, hey, term is great also. But what he never says is that, hey, you're going to get term policy. It is graded a little harder, so make sure you're healthy. You're going to get term policy, make sure you do it earlier in life. Don't wait till you're 60 or 70 to think you're Dave Ramsey and be like, I want term.
Yeah.
Right.
You
know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Like,
$250 a month.
Yeah, you can get it, but you got to be paying.
You might still be able to get it, but it's more so
when you're younger, it benefits
for
you.
younger people. You know what I mean?
And
so, you're waiting till you get to the age of, where it's more so just final expense. But now you want term when it's like, well, you probably should have did that. And he's not saying these things in the videos like, you guys that are 30, get it right now. You guys that are 40, get it right now.
Yeah.
But he's not saying that part of it. And anyway, I did it, and I'm just paraphrasing my comment. But a lot of people like the comment, right? They're responding, they're hitting me up. I just say that, use that, like go to somebody with maybe a alternate view or even a good view or the same view as you, but sometimes you could get some love just by commenting on people's stuff.
Hey, 100%. And you know what? You just said something that I might be slow, but I just picked up on it. It didn't dawn on me. Final expense is more for older generations, right?
Yeah, look at the name.
And it's just the name, right? I heard the name so much, but I just never clicked. Like, final expense is literally like their final expense because they're in their later years, and that's okay. So
it's going to be anywhere from 10 to 30 grand. It's not going to be some super big policy. It is whole life, and it does actually grow interest as well, though.
Sure.
So a lot of those are guaranteed interest. Also, they're not necessarily like the paying your dividends and all that different stuff, but some of them. But most of them are just, hey, burial, cremation and whatnot. But so I've kind of forgot where I was going with that.
You know what? I think I think this is where you were going. I think you had some life insurance bars for us, as we had said earlier. We got he's a hip hop artist as well, and I think he did have a few lines.
I was like, if I had some bars because I never tried to come up with bars for life insurance, but what would I say? I'd probably say like something like
exclusive.
Let me say this first. You're going to see this reel on Instagram in the future, but you heard it first.
You heard it
right here.
You heard it first. Exclusive
right
world
Let's start with
premiere.
Little air. Where the air horn?
We need to get some music instrumentals.
It'll probably go something like, let's see. You gonna need some life insurance, homie. That's a fact. Say you balling but don't got it, man. I'm gonna say that's cap.
Ooh.
You think life insurance only good for when you die, but the wealthy, they put it to use while they alive.
Mm.
Ooh. See, that's a fact. I'm licensed everywhere, protecting families across the map.
Yes.
All that selling plates and car washes, it's a wrap.
Oh.
Right.
Hey, there it is.
There we
There
go.
it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's different.
That's what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
sir.
Yeah, come on, man.
Lot-
So, but
that's
yeah.
great. That's so. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
it's so sad to see, like you mentioned, like going down Kings Canyon or Clovis
Yeah.
Ave, wherever you're going, you're gonna see all
Yeah.
these, signs up, car washes. They had a death, and it's just so sad to like, man,
It's
they
hard,
only
man. And,
knew about
and I
that.
understand. Let's put it this way too, because I know some people say, like, I've had people comment, man, people barely paying their rent, barely doing this and that, and they can't afford it. And I'm like, man, you'll be surprised, how affordable
Yeah.
it can be. And I get you, if some people just don't have no room to squeeze nothing in, but it's also how we've been conditioned, right? Because there's certain things that we think we have to be paying each month, that we
Man.
have to have acquired.
Yes.
And we're putting those ahead of something like that.
Like, don't buy another pair of Jordans. You don't need it. You don't need that other.
Right.
You don't need the rim. Whatever you're gonna get.
I have this perfect exercise that I do with my family and friends. They come to me all the time, because I've taken a huge interest in financial literacy and being financially independent and thinking about your future generations.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this exercise that I had them do. And these are my family and friends at my house, and around my little island there.
Right.
Everybody brought them, brought all the stuff that I had asked them.
Yeah.
I said, print out your last month of bank statements and print out last 3 months of bank statements and bring a highlighter.
Yeah.
With the highlighter, highlight every single charge over the past month that was a want, not a need. Not a grocery store. We don't need Food Max highlighted. We don't need Winco. We don't need rent payment highlighted because those are necessities.
Yeah.
But Wingstop, highlight that.
Right.
You know what I mean? World Shoe Sports, highlight.
Well,
And then-
they need to eat. Wingstop. They need to eat. They're hungry.
You cook your food at home, man. So highlight
Black
that.
people, we need chicken like at least.
But if it's-
like
Yeah.
every 90 days.
And if it's-
no.
And if it's lemon pepper, it's
So here's the
okay.
thing.
Lemon pepper's fine.
So you
It's-
highlight that. You highlight that. Look at what that number is, and just cut it in half. Just cut. I'm not saying eliminate it because
Sure.
we gotta live.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Fun is a huge part of our life.
Sure.
But if you cut that in half, I guarantee you, it's more than enough
Yes.
to pay for
Yeah,
$20
2 or
a
3
month.
policies.
$20 a
I'm
month.
gonna have 2 or 3
and
policies. You can
whole
get
life.
Yeah.
And
I
that-
guarantee you.
100%.
Guarantee you. Cut
20
it in half.
Right.
Not eliminate it.
Right.
Cut it in half.
Free up an extra $20-$25.
And then when you're
like, who can't do
highlighting,
that?
you're like, holy shit. You'll probably
But-
be
but
adding the math while you're highlighting, and it's
100%.
eye-opening. It's
That'll
eye-opening.
unlock probably hundreds of dollars.
It's
A month.
eye-opening.
Yeah.
But you don't even need to do that. We're talking $20-$25 a month to get you a term life, right? Or potentially, right?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
I'm sure everyone could find. I don't care how much you don't have. You can find an extra $20-$25.
That's how you find it.
And
right
the
there.
thing is, that's why I always tell people too. Insurance, life insurance, mortgage protection, whatever it is, it's no minimum or maximum, right? It's literally meant to be based off of your budget.
Right.
So it's literally meant to be based off what you can afford.
Right.
And so ultimately, it kind of just boils down to like, okay, because really, it's just one kind of person that really doesn't need life insurance, right? So it's the person that has, maybe just a
Buku bucks.
Yeah, multiple of their yearly salary,
Like the 1%.
People say 6 times your yearly salary.
Top
is what
1%.
Right? But that's, let's just say you 2, a year's worth. If you don't have that in the savings, then you probably should have life insurance, right? And then so if you're not that person and you don't have it, then I would have to just say you don't care.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You just really, you don't care as much. Like you don't, and maybe that sounds harsh or mean, but either you don't care, you're not aware. Maybe you don't know that when you pass away, that somebody's gonna step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Like that's the
The
truth.
burden
bro.
you leave.
I
Right.
don't care how ornery of a
Jesus, right.
person you are, or kind of the type of person that, I hear it all the time. Man, I passed away. Man, they can throw me in the backyard. Well, guess what, dude? They can't.
They can't.
They can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Can't do it.
They can't. Somebody's gonna be stressed out, trying to borrow money, trying to raise money for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even if you're a single person that has no wife, no kids, no husband. Even if you're just a single person at home, trust me, whether it's a friend, whether it's a former teammate, whether it's a former coworkers, whoever, because there's just good people in the world, bro.
Right.
There just is. There might be somebody say, bro, he was an asshole, but we gonna figure it out, bro. He worked with us for 10 years,
right?
We gonna figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
So people are gonna do that, and I guess if you're just okay with that happening, then so be it. But in your heart of hearts, you're probably not. You know what I mean?
Right.
So either if you know about it and you're aware of what it is, then you should probably have it. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is the people that don't need it, right? They got buku bucks, they got it too.
Yeah.
They still got it.
It's smart.
Insurance on top of their cash. Yeah.
Why not?
They're like, I can transfer all this wealth tax free to my kids.
It just makes sense.
Let's just do it.
It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You said something right now, and I was thinking about it earlier, and you just brought it up again now.
Yeah.
Transferring to your kids.
Yeah.
So, if you were to put a policy in place for your children while they're minors now, I'll tell you right now, I got a 5 and a 3-year-old.
Okay. Dope.
I chose to start a 529 account for them, a college fund account.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I went that route instead of a custodial IRA for them, because I can throw them on. I'm 1099, so I can throw them as my employees.
Right.
So instead of going that route, I went this way because at 18 years old, they technically they'll take that. They're in ownership of that IRA.
Yeah.
Whereas a 529, they will not. Right. I'm not sure how my kids are going to grow up financially. Literacy. They may say, "Oh, I got 20 grand. Yeah, that's mine, pops. Give me that."
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah. So would it work that way for a life insurance policy at 18? Does it shift to them, or if I'm the owner?
Well, no. If you're the owner, you're the owner. I mean,
okay.
you're still
So
alive and kicking.
I like that. You can give it to them whenever.
Yeah,
You control that.
And I'm not saying I won't. Maybe I'll give it to him at 12. I don't know. My son, he's pretty smart. If he starts, I'm like, you know what, man, you're good to
and
go.
if they don't act right, he can keep it.
And if they don't act right, I'm going to keep it in my name.
That's
the owner. Yeah, you own that asset.
Okay. Good to know.
Good to know. They're the person that is insured. Yeah.
Nice.
So that is that's one of the coolest things I learned about it, which was just and it sounds simple, but it was cool when I first heard about it because I was like, what happens? I'm asking all these questions in the beginning. Well, what happens if somebody isn't healthy enough and they do want to of course, if they're not healthy, we can find some type of coverage for them, right? But what happens for the person that's not healthy and they're cool, they got that coverage, but they want something that like an IUL or they want something that does take you to be a little more healthy.
Right.
It was like, well, they just insure somebody that is healthy. I was like, oh wow, I didn't think of that.
There it is.
That makes sense.
Most people have dependents, after you get to a certain age.
That's smart.
And it'll always stay in their control.
Yeah. Exactly. So
I think really, guys, man, and this has been on my heart for many years, and it's just getting more apparent. We're gonna have to put together something like a workshop or something for financial literacy.
In person.
Oh, 100%.
In person.
In person.
Yeah.
Bringing on guys like you, a couple other people.
Yeah.
Just do a whole financial workshop. We're covering real estate, financial literacy, how to get a mortgage. I mean, everything.
Maybe by then Gary's going to be estate planning, financial
go.
advisor.
Right.
We're going to send him to his booth. This is the one-stop shop over here.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So
definitely, man.
So that's something maybe. I don't know if it's
needed.
going to be something at the end of the year, early next year, but soon.
Would you be down for that, Gary?
I'll be down, bro.
You down to show up and educate?
I got y'all, man. I'm down, man.
And do some bars, get on stage. I'm like, I always, I'm thinking grind, like having a huge thing, like having even performers, like
that'd be ill.
a little adding, just having a great time.
There's so many people in the community, and we're all like 6 degrees of separation from a lot of different people.
It is.
There's so many people out here that came from exactly where we came from, and they're just killing it, bro.
Yeah.
In real estate, whether it's insurance, whether I know a bunch of guys in credit repair.
Right.
Yes.
All that.
Yes.
I mean, it's so many guys
we need all that.
Like doing, and girls.
And anyone listening to this who will be interested in something like that, contact us ASAP, inbox us. We'd be happy.
You cannot be at that event unless you come be a guest on the show first.
There you go. So
that's the requirement.
Get you on the show, and then we'll get you a part of the event. Very good. I love it. Well, man, it's great, man. As we wrap up, we always like to ask, and hip hop, you are a hip hop artist. We always ask this question. This is a great one.
Yeah.
You're an artist, so this can be nice.
He's an artist, not including yourself in this question. Your top 3 hip hop artists of all time, dead or alive. Okay. It looks like you're gonna finish off this bottle. You like this Robert Mondavi? It's pretty good. Yeah, it's cool. This is just something casual for now. But Duckhorn and there's a lot of good brands out there like higher.
But go ahead. My top three, so there's going to be a couple guys, or at least one that will always be in there, right? My top three. But so it could, don't be mad if you see me 2 years from now and it's like it changes, bro. You just said it.
Oh, it always.
But but for sure, I'm always gonna have Jay-Z in there. That's my favorite rapper of all time.
Jigga.
Hov, you know what I'm saying?
Solid.
That's my favorite rapper of all time, right? And then Pac.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So Pac is in my top.
Because if you weren't gonna say Pac, it was gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
West,
I got
you got the East Coast, but
so you like this, huh? Cut.
And then I know, right? And then definitely my wild card, but definitely in my top three, man. Pimp C, bro.
Wow.
Yeah,
The third one is always the one I wait for.
Yeah,
Now
right.
that we've been
I love
asking these questions for so long,
Yeah.
it's always like 1 and 2. I can almost always, it's gonna be.
It's
It's
kind of obvious.
Yeah, 10,
obvious.
10 artists. I'm
I
like,
love
okay,
it.
but the
Pimp
third
C
one is the one where that gets the thought process.
Yeah, and
Pimp
it's
C,
I haven't
man.
heard Pimp C. That's all, and he was great, legendary,
He was
legendary.
dope, man. He just
R.I.P.,
man, his
R.I.P..
voice, just his swag, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He just made you want to, man, where the mink at, man? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. No.
He was just that guy, man. So,
I think his.
yeah, and
I'm
he
gonna make
could
an IG
sing.
I've
reel
heard-
with Pimp C
He was
instrumental
a
in the back
classically
for him.
trained singer.
I
you
didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I do remember hearing in an interview years ago. I think he really looked up to Pac as well, Tupac as well. He was a big
Have
Tupac
you ever heard
fan.
this story about Pimp C in Big Pimpin' video?
No.
All right,
No.
so Too Short tells this story, right? So Pimp C was such a Pac fan, right?
Yes.
So loved Pac so much. So Bun B, for one, had to convince him to get on the song. So Bun B had to do like reverse psychology because Pimp wasn't feeling it and didn't want to do it.
Because that was during the whole supposedly East Coast, West Coast type of deal.
No, it was over.
That was-
Like,
okay,
it's just,
gotcha.
It's just Pimp being like, I love Pac. I don't know. Pac didn't really rock with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So Bun B was like, well, I guess, man, if you don't want to do it, we ain't going to do it. It'd be a great opportunity, man. But, we just pass on it, And then Pimp finally does it, right? He said, man, I'm going to give him 8 balls. You know what I'm saying? So he gives him 8 bars. Then it's time to shoot the video. So Too Short's with Pimp C, and Bun B was like, man, can you get him down here to Miami to do the video? And Pimp was like, I don't know, man. Man, you think Pop really didn't fuck with him, man? He's like, he asked him Too Short all these questions. He said, man, I don't know, man. And he's like, so Too Short is like, I'm working, trying to get him to convince him to come down there. And he basically, the way he sold him on going down there, I don't know where they were, but they must have been somewhere that was already close to Miami. He's like, man, you know what, man? We're going to bring the cars out. Let's just drive the cars down there, man. Get some females. We go down there with the cars. We're doing Pimp was like, okay. And he started kind of like warming up to the idea of going to the video. And it's just funny because at the end they were like, "Well, did Pimp C even like ever meet Tupac?" And Too Short was like, "Man, I don't know. I don't think so." But he was
Just a
just
fan.
so passionate about
Yeah.
he ain't rock with him, I ain't gonna rock with him, type thing. So
a lot of down south artists, I'm kind of slowly realizing they really love Tupac. Like even like Boosie.
Yeah,
Boosie was a huge fan. He even
the South, I think, gravitated more to the West Coast than they did the East. So you know what I
Makes
mean?
sense.
Like like when Pimp C says like I got them 16 switches like Dre, because where I'm from, that's what everybody played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
They
so-
had that sound kind of
Pimp, he was kind of he would go kind of hard on the East Coast. Like he said stuff in the songs where he was like, "Yeah, it started on the East Coast, then it went to the West, and they did a little bit better." You know what I'm saying? Like,
You can hear what side he's on. You can
right,
hear
you
what
kind
side
of
he's
know
on.
where he.
And
you
plus, what his whole aura was about.
Yeah,
like his
yeah,
whole,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it's
more
like some
West
Bay
Coast.
Area,
Yeah,
right.
Oakland,
Yeah,
Frisco,
energy,
San
Definitely
Francisco,
a different,
Fairmont,
Yeah.
Flint,
that
got
type
the
of
history.
thing.
So
But
that's
but
a good list, man.
But yeah,
I like that
yeah,
list.
Yeah. Hov, Pac, Pimp C, man.
Yeah. And man, it's been a great
Honorable
show.
mention Omar Ora, man.
That's what I was gonna
There
say. So
it
I was
is.
trying to,
There it
I was
is.
trying to segue a little bit
Yeah.
into your career, your past. We can
Yeah.
briefly touch on it.
Yeah.
So I know you were doing music with Fashawn and Grizzly, and
Yeah.
you got a whole history there, and then
Right.
Asia, like the whole tree,
Yeah,
the family tree
you know,
locally.
me as an artist, man, it's been a blessing. I've been able to tour with some dope artists from Fashawn to Wiz Khalifa, Talib Kweli.
Damn.
Do
Yeah.
shows with Too Short. I mean, just a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
You
I've
did a
had some-
freestyle years ago, and I can't remember
Yeah.
what show it was on,
Oh,
but it was
yeah,
huge
it was on
though.
Shade 45.
Right.
With,
Yes.
Be Real.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
so,
He's been
yeah.
around. Yeah, he's not playing.
So Be Real just happened to be there. So I go into I go to Shade 45, which was dope in itself. I was
Yeah.
like dying to be on Shade 45 and like freestyle. You know what I'm saying? So I get there and so on Soul Assassins, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Soul Assassins Radio. And they're like, you got lucky today. And I was like, they didn't tell me why though. You know what I'm saying? So and then I get there and it's time for me to sit down and like Be Real walks in, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Be Real, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cypress
You're
Hill.
like, keep it cool.
And they
Keep
like,
it cool.
yeah, right.
Keep it cool.
They're like, yo, Be Real, you just came just in time, man. This dude's getting ready to spit. And he's like, oh, okay, I came for the bus.
Did the heart start beating a little bit harder?
Like, nah, because honestly, I was over prepared. So like, I was
Oh,
like,
okay, you're ready.
I'm finna murk this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, boom, Be Real, yeah, and I just tore it up, man. I just tore it up, and he was like, yo, he was like, man, that was like 80 pull-ups right there. You know what I'm saying? That was bar work. You know, he gave me some real props, and then he invited me onto his show, Dr. Green Thumb. And then a few weeks later, I went on Dr. Green Thumb and did my thing there. So, yeah, man, I've had a great journey, and then it's kind of most recently, while we were talking about this off camera too, like so the Fresno Grizzlies they're commemorating the Negro League team that had a small stint in Fresno, you know, in the early 1900s, and this the Fresno Tigers. So they had me like just kind of like show off the jersey last year.
I need to get a jersey. I'll buy it, whatever. Just like
hat, you know what I mean? And and then they used that picture most recently for the game, you know, that's coming up on Friday, and I'm throwing out the opening pitch.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So what?
Hey.
Hey, say the date. The date.
So that's gonna be Friday. So in 2 days, which is I think
16th.
the 16th,
Which is Tupac's birthday.
Oh,
It is.
What a
Tupac's
coincidence.
birthday. It is
man.
Tupac's
So,
birthday.
Pac's
June
birthday,
16th?
I'm throwing out the first pitch for the Fresno
Wow.
Grizzlies. Because,
Check it out, guys. Come.
you know,
Hopefully, you guys get out
it's
there.
coming full circle. So yeah, man. So I say all that to say music has took me a long way. A lot of people that got life insurance policy from me, there are people that I know through music and that have been like, bro, you doing insurance? I mean, yeah, I need some life insurance.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you talk about it, bro. Let me look further into it. So so yeah, man. Like I said, now I'm kind of a lot more comfortable with just saying, hey, man, I'm an entrepreneur. I have different passions, and yeah, you know, I have a history of doing music. I'm not gonna stop doing that. But you know, I've also
Well versed in other areas.
Yeah, build another business.
Man, I love it. I just want to say one last thing because this is very important, and it applies to anyone who's had another career. This applies to a lot of people, especially myself and all of us.
Yeah.
Understand that when you, hopefully the sound's working, but
Oh, it's working. It's working.
yeah. Just understand, people out there. I know it's tough when you're transitioning from one career to another, right? And a lot of it, what I realized, it just experiences is the people that knew you as one thing. So me, probation and music or whatever, you know, a lot of times it's hard for the people to accept or understand what you're doing now, your new career, because you're a new person. Well, not a new person, but you're doing something new. And so a lot of people don't know you as that insurance broker or that lender, that real estate agent. They know you. Oh, that's Rich from Juvenile Hall. That's Rich from the hip hop artist. That's Omar Ora, the rapper. That's, you know what I mean? They know you from that. So a lot of times friends, family members, or people we know don't necessarily take us serious initially. Sometimes that's where sometimes the struggles happen, to where you're like, man, no one's doing business. You know, they don't want to do deals with me. They don't get it. You know, and a lot of times that can throw us off our course. You know, make us feel like we're a failure. We're not going to be successful. Just keep in mind that all you need to do is keep doing more of it. Keep doing it, showing people daily what you're doing, using videos online. Go all in on that. And sooner or later, you're going to rebrand yourself as your new career, to where people are like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is what he's doing now. This is the new him. This is what he is.
Yes.
And that will a lot of times lead them to be more comfortable to do business with you, to like seek out, ask you questions. It'll just come full circle. Then you'll start seeing growth happen and more successes happen.
Right.
But it may take a little while for people to understand that this is what you're doing now. Because I saw something the other day and it just really hit home, to where like, man, very true. You know, they don't know you as that. But so you got to kind of keep doing it. And the more you go through it, they'll get it.
You know what the crazy thing is, man, is we always end this with a motivational quote.
Oh, love it.
You ready to hear this one?
Let's go.
Ties in perfect.
Okay.
I feel like you knew it already. This is crazy. What I had written down here was, you'll never plan for your future when you're stuck living in your past.
I love it.
Which is what you just said right now.
Hey.
What you just said right now.
Yeah.
You don't get stuck. We're not telling you to forget your past.
Right.
Just can't get stuck living there. Okay, because you're gonna have a future. building multiple businesses right here. Gary, right in the middle, building multiple businesses, has not forgotten his past recording history.
Sure.
His history as an artist. Has not forgotten it at all, but he is continuing to grow and move forward.
Yes.
Same thing happened for us. Have not forgotten my past. Law enforcement is a huge part of my business because of where I came from.
Right.
Have not forgotten it, but this is my new future, and I don't know what's in future for me even, 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But I'll never know it if I'm just stuck living right here.
That's gold. That's gold, man. That's a good
Gold.
That's gold.
Gold.
Well, that's it, guys. Let's end with how can people contact you? And his Instagram is off the hook. He does a lot of videos.
So if you want to learn more about insurance, or you want to reach out to me and kind of figure out, life insurance, mortgage protection, whole life, all that stuff, man. Great videos on my insurance page is Guyton 365. I probably should make it more simpler, but it's just my first initial G, my last name Guyton, and then 365. Or just like hit up Rich and be like, hey man, what's that dude's name?
Right.
Yeah.
But much love. I'm really glad I got to come on here, man. I'm gonna continue to support you guys, continue to build with y'all, man.
How can they find your music though?
Music, you just search Omar Aura anywhere.
How did you come up with that name? Because off camera he did ask, and before I just want to know, how did you come up with Omar Aura?
So when I was younger, I used to go out to the Bay Area a lot, and all the guys I would hang out with were a lot older than me. So back then, I don't know if it's still a thing, but they would have like 25 and older clubs, and I'd be like 21. So I'd have to dress kind of like this, you know what I mean? I didn't have clothes like this. They would give me their clothes, give me their hard soles, and when I would do that, because I'm coming from wearing Jabot jeans, big ass black tees.
Early 2000s, yes.
Like, I'm coming from that era, and they like getting me. I was the first time up there with my boys. The first time I put on a shirt that fit. I thought a huge shirt fit. That's what was fitting to me.
Yeah.
But a shirt like this that actually fits, and I was like, oh, okay. And anyway, when I would do that and put that on, and then I would go to these clubs, and I was kind of like, you know what I mean? You like, look at him over there with the older chick, you know what I mean? It would be like, that's Omar Aura right there. Like it was like almost like a little superhero name. Like
wow, where'd they get Omar from? I'm just trying to.
It was Carlos, or it was just some suave. We were just on some like.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was
okay.
just like
I'm just Omar Aura.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It was just like some straight alter ego, type thing. And then when I was searching for like a new rap name moniker that I wanted to switch to, it was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And
but
it kind of.
They could find some old stuff on YouTube on the graphic, right?
Oh yeah. That they could the early. You want to go back to the teenage,
rabbit hole. That's the rabbit hole.
Yeah. You got to dig deep for that.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna sign him though to my label. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get all that old music.
Yes.
And re-put it out, you know what I'm saying, and be like, yo, check this guy out.
hey, and I'm gonna do just last thing. I'm gonna do a challenge because I was in the music industry years ago, many moons. I'm not gonna tell you who I was, but if anyone, messages us with the video that I did years ago, or finds any of that old music, $50 gift card. Why not?
Woo.
Right.
I mean, it's a little something. Just $50 gift card. Just
like that.
To say, hey, man, you found it. I mean, it might take.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm putting that out there.
If you ever can find 25, I'll let you keep 25 of it. If you hit me up, I'll give you the answer.
Make it fun, right? Well,
That's
good.
Cool. I love that, man.
Well,
Hey,
cheers.
It's been a pleasure having
Cheers,
you, man,
fellas.
and great show, and also to the 6-month anniversary here. And
Congratulations, man.
He speakers, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.